Hello everybody, a very warm welcome back to MEC-TEC. We're back in the wilds of Norfolk at the moment and we are working on the old Triumph. Now if you saw the video with the Triumph and the Granada together, you would have seen we tried to fix the fuel pump issue on this car. Unfortunately it didn't work. I've since found out by people online, thank you for the info, and I think comments on the video, that there are 3 sections of rubber pipe underneath the car which do perish obviously over time, and I think it was sucking a lot of air and not a lot of fuel. So we have got obviously a new bit of pipe, some new clamps, and most importantly we've got one of these, which is an EdelBrock electric fuel pump. I've seen people use these, the likes of Derek on Vice Grip Garage as they call it, and I've seen other people use them as well, and they seem to be quite a good pump, so we've got one of those to go on it. So we need to get under the car and I'll show you what bits of pipe we've got to change. We've got to do the back one very fast because it comes straight out of the tank into the pipe and it's going to end up with fuel all over my head otherwise. So let's get under there and I'll show you what we've got. Right, we're under the car as you can see, and that is the first bit of rubber pipe which we've got to change. It comes directly out the tank. You've got all that manky sort of moulded tar stuff around the gap in the body, which obviously seals it from letting water into the boot. But we've got to get that bit of pipe off there, which goes into the hard line, which obviously feeds down to the front of the car. There are 3 small sections of pipe like that we're going to change. As I said, this one's going to be the most tricky because it is literally directly out of the tank, so it's got the most pressure on it pushing the fuel out. So we've got to cut the bit of pipe to fit and swap it over as fast as we can. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to get the pipe cut just to that little bit of length there, and obviously then I'll come back to you once we're doing what we need to do. Right, this is going to be a bit messy I think, because the pressure of the tank is right there as we said. So I'm just putting the got my new bit of pipe, I'm just putting the clamps on it. Here's my new bit of pipe. I've got nice new, this hasn't even got any clamps on this original bit, but we're going to put clamps on it because belt and braces and all that. Just working out which way around the clamp's going to sit so I can do it up easier. Probably want it that way, I reckon. There's a bulge in the floor here and it's going to get in the way a bit otherwise. Do that one the same. Something like that. I think what I'm going to have to do is cut the old bit of pipe off because it's rock hard. Otherwise I'm not going to bend it to get the new one on. This should be interesting. Cool. Oh, there goes the fuel everywhere. It does say in the manual to drain the tank, but we don't want to do that. Trying to keep your finger over the pipe whilst to cut the old one off there. Being awkward. There it goes. Right, new bit. Pop that out of that clip. I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing in the camera, on my arms, not in the way of the camera. If it is, I apologise. It's on there, still leaking a bit because I've got to tighten it up. There we go. That ratchet, Dad?
Yeah.
Thanks. Shows you what a good seal that old pipe was, because it didn't have any clamps on it. It weren't leaking, but this one's leaking quite a lot. There we go, that's got it. I think. Right, well, once we've got this, I'm going to get this tightened up now. You can see what I've done there with the new pipe, obviously. and we need to then go down the car and find where the next bit of pipe is, because there's 3 small sections like this underneath the car. So I'm going to get this tightened up and I'll come back to you when I've stopped making a mess. Right, we are now on the passenger side of the car. Originally we were sort of half in the middle of the car where the fuel tank was, but we're on the passenger side. We've got the wheel off, as you can see, and the next bit of pipe we've got to replace is this rubber piece up here. You can see there, again, this hasn't got any clamps on it, so I can only assume that it's either original, which is 50 years old, which is not ideal, or it's been heat shrunk on there by someone in the past. So we're going to cut that one off, the same as we did at the back, and obviously get this new bit that I've got pre-cut with the clamps on fitted. Got some nice fuel clamps on it as well, so that should do the job nicely. And then we'll find out where the third one is, because there's a third one along the car somewhere we've got to find as well. So as I say, if you haven't done this before, it's under the passenger, just behind the passenger rear wheel arch. I'll get your camera set up and I'll just try and cut this one off, and hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Right, you're currently propped underneath the car, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. The pipe we're changing is here. I'm going to cut it again because obviously it's rock hard and you've got no chance of getting that off of there without cutting it. Hopefully the fuel flow won't be quite so much from here, because obviously we're not right next to the tank and it does go up and down a bit, the pipe. So he says that and it starts dripping all over the place. I've got to be fairly fast doing this. And some clips come off the end of the pipe. Now we are leaking a little bit of fuel, but it shouldn't stay leaking for long, because obviously it's further down the car. Once we get the clamps done up, it should be fine. Okay, metal pipe has just knocked you over, so I'm going to have to reset you in a second, because there's nothing actually holding this metal pipe on. I'll show you what's happened. The metal pipe's just fallen down on the ground. The next rubber bit, I can now see where it is, because it's hanging on the next rubber bit at the front, which looks like the one that's perished. But I'm going to have to tighten this up, and then we're going to have to maybe try and cable tie this up, because at the moment it's not attached, which is not ideal. Right, I'll come back to you in a minute. Right, this back bit is now done. You can see the 2 clamps in there with the new bit of pipe. I've re-clipped that rear pipe over the arch up here, because where are we there? Because it had come undone from the clip, so they've just popped back in. And then along here, I've just put a couple of cable ties, one through there and one through this little eyelet here, which is already there luckily, so that's quite good. That's now nice and solid again. And we're on to the torch. We're onto this front section now, which is under the passenger footwell, and you can see there's a bit of rubber there that we've got to change. So we're basically going to do the same thing again, and I'll get it done. I'll come back to you in a second. Right, there we go. That is the third bit of pipe replaced. 2 new clamps. Unfortunately we had to use a different clamp on one side, as you can see there, because for whatever reason when they supplied us with the pipe they only gave us 5 clamps, which is a bit daft, but there we go. So we found a clamp that's done it anyway. That's all sealed and dry, so we're going to work. I don't think there's any other pipes under the car now. We're going to work under the bonnet now, and get our nice new fuel pump fitted in there, and hopefully that should do the trick. So I'll come back to you when we are topside. Right, we're under the bonnet now, as you can see, and we've got the pump open. This is a new EdelBrock pump. It comes with a filter, and it also comes with a couple of bolts to hold it on with, and that is about it, I think. Now we've found on the car, the old one we've unbolted. It was bolted just underneath the brake reservoir over there. Let me go around the other side of the car and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Zoom. I think they're zoomed in enough. Right, so this is where it was bolted on in the first place. Hopefully you can see my hand down there. We took the old pump off of there, and we've been looking around, and we've actually found there's 2 holes in the bulkhead there, which this is going to fit absolutely perfectly inside that bit of foam, and the holes even line up with the 2 holes on this. So that is where we're going to bolt it to. We're going to bolt it to there. We'll have 1 pipe going in this side, which goes to the carbs, And the other side, which has got the filter that's got to go on it, which will go down to the feed pipe that we've just put all the new rubber bits on. So that is the plan. I'm going to try and get this bolted on, and then obviously we can then maybe look at doing a bit of wiring and all that sort of thing and get it all working. Now there was an earth wire poked through here, which I've just pulled through, and it's not actually connected to anything, so that's quite handy to not have to deal with that anymore, which is good. Let's see if this bolts onto the, it would be an absolute miracle if this bolts onto these two holes here without actually having to do anything to it. That would be mega. Because the holes in this plastic are slightly bigger than the bolts, but the holes in the body are slightly off, if that makes sense, to the holes in the plastic. So I'm hoping that the sort of flexibility of having slightly smaller bolts will aid us in getting this to go through all right. Not going in. There you go. Top one in, there's the bottom one, I don't know if it's going to fit or not, but we'll find out in a second. It'll be nice and neat if it does go straight through. And we haven't had to drill any more holes, which is nice if it does. Would you look at that? That's almost straight through. Yep, enough to bolt it up anyway. I think that'll work. Yeah, that'll be alright. So I'm going to get that bolted on there. I may get a little bit of rubber to go behind it just to insulate it from the bulkhead slightly to stop the pump noise vibrating into the car. And then we should be able to get it plumbed in, and it should be absolutely marvellous. Right, I'll come back to you in a minute. Right, we are progressing well under here. As you can see, we've got the nice new fuel pump bolted up nice to the bulkhead there, and we've got, you can't see it because it's inside this bit of foam. This bit of foam dampening here was exactly the right width to fit that pump in the middle, and the holes that were there for whatever reason were perfect, so that's really, really good. We've got the pipe I should say, sorry, connected to the carburetors. That's done. We've got the earth going through a rubber grommet under here, and that comes through and then attaches to the bodywork there with one of those little washers that dig in through the paint so that it earths it nice. We've got a wire in the hot wire to this red wire over here, which obviously we can do fairly easy. Just got to put a connector on the end of it, and all we've got to do then is run a new bit of fuel pipe from here to the metal fuel line down there. We can see my finger is, and then it should in theory work. So I'm going to get this last pipe connected, which just goes from there to there, as I say, and the wiring, and then I'll come back to you and we'll see if it starts.
See if you hear it pumping first.
Okay, we've got this wired in. We're just going to see if the pump actually works to start with and see what happens. Well, that's a good start. Wait till it changes tone. There you go. Hang on. Keep it. We'll give that a go.
Hey?
Give that a go. Yes, lovely. First try. That was all live. I haven't pre-tried it or anything. That's all right then. Fuel pump's buzzing away nicely. I call that a win. That is the fuel system completely upgraded. Well, yeah, completely upgraded as far as the pump's concerned, and all new pipes underneath, so we know that it's not joining any air anywhere. It's all nice and neat inside there. You can see I put the wire in. Obviously, I've got to put a bit of tape over this. The fuel hose, you've got a filter in there built into the pump. It goes right the way around, down the bottom and into the pipe down there, nice and neat. That is absolutely mega. Top banana. Right then, that is going to be it for this episode on MEC-TEC. We have sorted out the fuel system on the old Triumph. It is now up and running again and Dad can use it, which is absolutely superb. We've got all new pipes underneath, as you would have seen, so that is nice and safe again now, not crusty old rubber anymore, and obviously that new pump is going to do the job for that. I've got bugs flying all around me because we're in the wilds of Norfolk, as I've said before. Anyway, if you do like what you see, make sure you do those 4 things for me: like, subscribe, share and hit the notification bell. It's all free, it costs you absolutely nothing. It really helps me out on the channel. I do really appreciate it. Remember, I've got Instagram, MEC_TEC1985, and I have got Facebook, MEC-TEC, for little sneak peeks during the week of what I'm up to. And all that's left for me to say is thank you very much for watching. And if you want to join me soon for more automotive adventures, I'll see you again next time. Cheers, guys.